There's no money coming out.
What's going on, everybody? I wanted to jump on real quick on this Wealth Wednesday and bring you some positive news. Right now, there's so much negativity and confusion about what's going on in the market or where you should put your money, or just in general, what's going to happen, right? We're talking all these buzzwords about inflation and people have rising food costs and gas costs, and all those things are super relevant. And then I think there's some people out there that are looking at this as we are, as an opportunity to capitalize on some pretty interesting times that are up ahead. If you kind of follow the trajectory, this isn't the first or the last time we've gone through some interesting cycles. You can call it a depression, a recession, a reset. Any of the above really works. When you're having an opportunity where some assets that are out there in the form of real estate, et cetera, stocks, are going to be available for purchase at a lower price than they have in the past, you have an opportunity to reset. And what I would suggest is that everybody looks for those opportunities. You know, a lot of the great investors in the world will tell you when everybody's running a certain direction, you should be looking the opposite direction, or looking at least into why they're running in that particular direction. I can tell you this year alone, we've purchased dozens of houses. We have an incredible cash flowing real estate portfolio, and we've done that all with cash, no leverage. And we have waited for this time. We lived through 2006, 7, 8, 9, learned from the mistakes of those years, and are ready to capitalize today and in the next 24 months, in our opinion, on what's going to be coming. And so instead of me pontificating and telling you what I think is going to happen, I'll do that plenty on other episodes. But this particular one, I want to give you guys something tangible. And one of those tangible things is going to be in the form of a very, very stable, if not what I would use the word guaranteed rate of return. And that's going to be from the federal government, from the Treasury. I'm going to make sure that Ant and Herc post all of the links and the screenshots for everybody that's actually interested in educating themselves on this particular investment. This isn't a fly-by-night. This isn't a goofy idea. This isn't a particular stock. This isn't a Bitcoin. This is actual from the federal government and what they're willing to do to give you a return on your money. Most people will call that guaranteed. On the Treasury's website, treasurydirect.gov, there is what's called a Series 1 savings bond. Those savings bonds oftentimes, most of the time, reflect the way that the interest rates are going to go in the world. What I mean by that is the government is going to give you a rate of return on your money that they are not going to lose on. So if the government is willing to pay 5% to you on your money, the government needs 6% to loan that money out. Does that make sense? So whatever that rate of return is the government is willing to give you, the government is most likely going to increase their interest rates so that they're not going to lose any money loaning that money out. And that's also a great indicator of where the market's going. So for example, if you're seeing interest rates right now in the sixes, you hear that all the time, went and bought a home in the 6%, or interest rates in the 6% are double what they were a year ago in the threes. Those have a big reflection on where the economy is going. If the government needs to increase interest rates, it's because they have so much money that they need to give out. And so they're trying to stop this inflation. And so the only way to do that is to offer a bigger rate of return. So a lot of confusing words. I do apologize. I try to educate everybody, and really not like with 7 steps to millionaire status, but with real tangible stuff that you can take away, that you can give to your friends, your family, your posterity, and it's not a bunch of BS. And so go to treasurydirect.gov. Again, Ant and Herc will post this particular link. You're going to look for what's called Series 1 savings bonds. The interest rate on those savings bonds is good for 6 months. Okay, so when you buy it today, for example, at, let's say, the rate that's being offered today, 9.62%, that rate's going to be applied for the next 6 months and compounded semi-annually. All right, let me walk you through what that means. So today, this is a true story. It's public record. The federal government is willing to give you almost 10% rate of return on your money. Okay, that's an incredible rate of return, and coming from the government, it's a pretty guaranteed rate of return. So anybody that's out there telling you that you can't get 10% without it being a scam just doesn't know where to look. So this Series 1 savings bond right now is being offered at 9.62%. So let's rewind. Like what is a bond? Okay, a bond is going to be a loan. Okay, that's all it is. It's a security, which means that it has an interest rate that's both fixed and is set twice a year. Okay, the bond earns interest until it reaches 30 years, or you cash it out, whichever comes first. So you can literally keep these savings bonds rolling for the next 30 years, or you can cash these savings bonds out. All right. But just understand that a new rate will be set every 6 months based on the bond's fixed rate and inflation. So why is this a good bet right now? Well, we know, quote unquote, know that for the next 2 years, we're going to have a rise in cost, an inflation, if you will. Now, the government is going to pay based on that inflation. So it's a probable bet that if you invested today in these savings bonds, that your interest rate will continue to go up for the next 24 months, and you'll make great returns on your money over the next 24 months. Okay. Now, you'll probably say, why isn't everybody doing this? Well, number one, they are. And number two, there's a cap on what you can actually purchase for these particular bonds. Okay. So you can buy these bonds electronically and you can buy these bonds in paper form. I'll walk you through the two ways to do that. So the bonds are going to have a calendar year of $10,000 in electronic bonds and $5,000 in paper bonds. That's the max you can purchase. The government knows for a reason, they don't want people putting $1 billion into these particular bonds, and then the government needs to pay you 9.62% for the next 6 months, guaranteed. The government would go bankrupt as though it isn't already. But nonetheless, your maximum is only $15,000 a year that you can actually contribute or purchase on these particular Series 1 bonds. Okay. Now, you can buy these bonds electronically. Again, we'll put the link up for treasury.gov, Treasury Direct. The second way to do it is the paper bonds, and you can use those federal income tax returns to purchase these bonds. Now, let me walk you through this. Think about this. If you're going to get, let's call it $2,500 back this year or next year from your tax return, and instead of blowing it on a Nintendo set or marijuana or something stupid, feel free to purchase federal income bonds. Okay. These bonds are going to pay you 10% on your income tax return, which is money you've already paid taxes on. You get it? You double dipping. So if you've got, let's say, a 13 or 15% tax on what typically would be income, now you have $5,000 tax free that you've rolled over into these federal bonds, and you have a 9.62% guaranteed rate of return from the federal government. So when you amortize both of those together, not paying tax on the money on top of what you've purchased from the government, you're talking teens, maybe even high teens, maybe even double digits rate of return, which is pretty intelligent. But again, you can only max it out at $5,000. You can purchase these for other people. So if you've got loved ones, little ones, children are the best ones to purchase these for, because they've got 30 years before they really mature. Bonds and federal bonds especially are going to be a very, very safe place for you and for them to put your future money. And so what does the government do with these bonds? Anything they want, typically, is the answer. So the federal government is going to reduce public debt. They're going to have infrastructure bonds where they're going to build whatever the government chooses to build, roads, tolls, bridges, et cetera. And they're going to use that money in order to do it. Okay. So all you're going to need is your social security number, prove that you're a U.S. resident, and to be able to buy those electronically. It's very, very simple. And again, we'll put that link up. So if you're looking for a place to put a couple $1,000, you don't need to go nuts. You can diversify your portfolio and just add a little bucket. Think of this visually. If I were to draw it on the board behind me, visually, if you had buckets. So if you had your income that came in every month or every year, however you diversify it, and you said this particular bucket is going to be my guaranteed rate of return, my federal bucket, that's going to be a 10% bucket. This next bucket is going to be what we would call fair to midland, medium risk, stocks that are really prevalent, Coca-Cola, Amazon, et cetera. And then you're going to have high risk. So that could be, hard money lending or real estate speculation or, any type of other small business endeavors that you might get into. If you look at your income in these ways, and you can set that up however you decide, 60, 20, 20, 80, 10, 10, 33 a piece, that's entirely up to you based on your age and your level of income. But look at this bucket as being kind of a guaranteed. Put it on autopilot, put $10,000 into it or less, that's your maximum, and then just set it and forget it. Let the government pay you that money and then roll that money over every 6 months or every year, depending on what you can do. And again, you can buy it for others as a gift. You can transfer it upon the death, from you to other people. honestly build up this huge nest egg from the government based on their inflationary rules. Okay. So super simple to do. We'll put the links up for everything. Series one bonds, Series one's savings bonds. Okay. Currently, the federal government is offering almost 10% on your money, 9.62 through the end of the year, December 31st. So you would literally buy it today, and for the next duration till the end of the year, be guaranteed 6%, or I'm sorry, 9.62% for the next 6 months on your money. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and a fantastic investment. We'll see you soon, friends.